And this all came too as we saw the shock resignation of NRL CEO David Gallop. Let's find out what all of this means, well, particularly for the negotiations for the NRL TV rights coming up. James, just firstly, if I could ask you, we've seen Network 10 announce that they're moving their NRL and AFL shows to Thursday nights, a pretty busy night for a lot of those footy shows on subscription and obviously free to air. Is this a bit of positioning to try and get those NRL TV rights? Would that be a game changer?
It doesn't hurt, you know, that you get that on purely commercial terms. I think Nine's NRL footy show on Thursday nights underperforms, you know, especially in Sydney, but it's a good thing to have. It supports the football you're showing on the weekend. It's seen as the right thing by the league community. It's a brave programming decision by 10 to do this. The game plan has been on their One HD, the digital channel. Something like about 56,000 people watched it last week in Sydney, which is a pretty big call to put it on at 8:30 on your main channel. Before the game in Melbourne does a lot better. About 200,000 it's been getting on Saturday night, so that could do well on Thursday. But again, it's a long-term strategy to look at like they're supporting the codes.
Barry, if I could ask you, just looking at 10 and what they had to say about the weak ad market, the resignation of David Gallop. I mean, is this going to affect those NRL TV rights? Does it change what's going on there?
What I know is that, you know, there's been different people out talking to the various networks. It's now an open slather. Nine had the first and last rights. That's now sort of opened up. But in terms of 10, it is critical for them, and I understand the capital raising that's going on, because they do need a major injection in terms of new programming. With new programming, and hopefully it works, that gives you the opportunity to go and get more revenue. At the moment, it's not working for them. Gallop now not in the position of running the game. Clearly, they'll get into the market and open up and look for a new CEO. But the focus at the moment is all three networks want this product. This product is a great product, and they have to go and pay some big money for it. Will they get the $1 billion for it? They should. They can probably get more. But what you need at the moment is you need a couple of strong players like the networks out there. Like Nine need to keep it, because if they drop it, that'll drop, you know, in terms of their balance sheet. 10 need it to be able to sort of push their network forward. 7 are cashed up, so 7 are in a nice play, and they'll probably have a crack for the State of Origin and also for the Test. So the Rugby League are in a great position, but they need to find who's going to be the lead negotiator. Clearly that wasn't David, because he wasn't involved in the negotiations up to this point.
And I guess from the recruitment point of view then, what would be going on behind the scenes, Chris, in terms of finding the new NRL CEO?
Well, like any corporation, they'll need to be identifying what sort of competencies and talent that they really need. And then really they need to go to the market and undertake a proper process to identify people in the market that have those skills and that talent that they need. And that'll take a little bit of time. They may already have some ideas on who they feel could be right for the job, but I think you'll see that they'll take their time and they'll go through the process and have a look in the market and see who's available. Some people will put their hand up, and some people will sit on their hands, you know, so they'll need to be quite professional about the process and bring good people to the table and open up discussions.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you, though, so much for joining us. Plenty more we could have talked about on that, but thank you, Barry O'Brien and Chris Davey. Thank you both.
Thank you.
And plenty more coming up on Media Week with James Manning after this short break. Could the Craig Thompson scandal lead to tougher media regulation?